Today's discussion focuses on the artist Toulouse-Lautrec. We are going to talk about questions 1 and 2. How did the artist's personal experiences influence this artwork?
And what was the artist trying to do that was new?
Right.
Let's
exactly.
first look at his painting at the Moulin Rouge.
And this is one that the kids do have to know. So take a minute, find the painting in your book, and next to it write down the title so you remember it and the name of the artist.
Again, it's At the Moulin Rouge by Toulouse-Lautrec, 1892.
Good.
So let's focus on question number 1. What personal experiences was happening in the artist's life that influenced this piece of artwork?
Okay, and this is really an autobiographical work of art, so it's an important question to address when we look at this painting. This is Toulouse-Lautrec's world, the Moulin Rouge, and it was a wild world. Tell them a little bit about
it was
so wild.
it was a world where people drank and danced, and that wasn't too strange. However, at the Moulin Rouge, you had the opportunity to not only dance but show ankles, and this is where the can-can basically originated.
Right. The Moulin Rouge was in Montmartre, which is just outside the Paris city limits, and because they were outside the city limits, they didn't have to abide by all the rules for polite society in Paris. And in polite society, a woman never showed her legs.
But at the Moulin Rouge,
you got to see a leg.
Yeah, what happens at the Moulin Rouge stays at the Moulin Rouge. And so when we look at this painting, we can see some of the famous can-can dancers, like the woman in the back with the red hair, with her back towards us. You also see some other famous people, friends of Toulouse-Lautrec, because he would hang out there.
Mm-hmm.
There's a famous singer up front with the green face. Mm-hmm. You have art critics at the table. And actually, Toulouse-Lautrec himself is actually in the painting.
Right. And if you haven't found him yet, because the men in this painting do have an odd resemblance. Right?
Mm-hmm. They all look very similar.
Yeah. But Toulouse-Lautrec is in the background. He is standing beside a man who looks very, very tall. But the man looks as tall as he does because
Toulouse-Lautrec is very short.
Very short.
And why was he very short?
Yeah, this is a sad story. Toulouse-Lautrec was the only child of first cousins. The Toulouse-Lautrec household was extremely wealthy. I mean, they could trace their ancestry back to Charlemagne, and one of the reasons that these two may have married each other is just to keep all the money in the family. But as first cousins, of course, that led to
some gene issues,
yes.
And those gene issues led to a growth plate accident, and he couldn't really grow. And he suffered from that, and he felt a little bit bad about the way he looked, and so
he looked monstrous. What happened is his legs stopped growing because he'd broken them so often, and the growth plates had been disrupted. So he had the legs of a little boy and the body of a grown man.
And so his solution and way he dealt with it was alcohol, and
mm-hmm.
he dealt with that through alcohol.
What else do we need to tell him about this world?
I think that is pretty much it. We could talk about what he was doing that was new.
Yeah, and this is kind of mixed in with his experiences as well. What Toulouse-Lautrec is doing that's new is basically showing you his world without prettifying it in any way. I mean, he's showing you the grit, the ugliness, even though he loved these people and he loved this place. Nobody can look at this painting and miss the fact that it's pretty hideous in a lot of ways.
The characters themselves look like characters, so the people in there.
Right.
Caricatures.
Yeah, and it's kind of ironic that Toulouse-Lautrec actually made the careers of most of these women that you see in this painting because he did the posters all around Paris that featured these women. And so he made them famous throughout Paris, but he didn't make them look very pretty.
Right, so in addition to what else did he do that's new, besides creating this realistic, dark image of how he felt about the place, he also mixed marketing or sales with fine art.
Right, and this is really the first time that we see that happening with fine art and kind of practical, real-world business-type art mixing and crossing over. In fact, the posters that he made for the Moulin Rouge are as famous as many of his paintings today.
Okay, let's take a look at another painting.
Yeah, sometimes when you're trying to figure out an artist's goals, one of the best things to do is look at what the artist most hated. What were they trying not to do? And what you see in this painting is what Toulouse-Lautrec was trying not to do. This is Puvis de Chavannes' work, The Sacred Grove, and it is another work of art that you'll need to know for your test. So go ahead and find that painting and write down Puvis de Chavannes. If you're not sure how to spell that, just look back at the page that lists all the works of art you need to know. You can see the spelling there.
And what did he hate about this painting? Well, we know that he hated the timeless nature of this, an unrealistic nature of this painting.
I mean, this is a bunch of classical people from ancient times standing around in white robes. Nobody in his time looked like this or acted like this. So it has nothing to do with the life that he himself knew. Right.
So what did he do?
He made fun of it.
Yeah, he definitely did.
And Puvis de Chavannes, I should say, was getting a lot of attention from the critics, who loved him and thought he was great, and some of them didn't have such nice things to say about Toulouse-Lautrec. So he took the opportunity to repaint Puvis de Chavannes' work of art, making fun of the very qualities in it that he thought were so silly. So that's what you see in this next slide. He's painted himself into the work of art. You can probably find him if you look carefully. Just find the shortest figure there. And you'll see that he's positioned perhaps like he's urinating.
Yeah, he has his back towards us. If he's not urinating, he's at least making a statement that I don't want to look at you, or you shouldn't spend time looking at this painting, or he's definitely turning his back on the painting or this world.
Yeah, and look at the way his arms are.
Yeah, sure, we could look there too.
He also did other things, like to make fun of the fact that Puvis de Chavannes is trying to be so timeless and classical. He puts a clock on the tower to show that no work of art should be timeless. It should be tied to its own period. And then he replaced a lot of the faces with people who were in the press. You know, there were news stories about them in Paris at the time, so that when people looked at this, they didn't see just classical figures. They saw real people who they knew.
And so that is Toulouse-Lautrec questions number 1 and 2. Good luck.
Humanities Online. That's all, folks.